Good afternoon, Miner Nation. I am Jim Renee. Alongside me is Jeff and Coach Red. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We were a little delayed because Coach Red is still in North Carolina. Gents, welcome to another edition of Through the Wire. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, man. How are y'all doing?
Hey, I'm enjoying this time of year. My time of year has begun. My two leagues I cover kicking off this weekend. I'm excited. That's me. That's how I feel. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, indoor arena football is back. It's an exciting time. Everybody's getting ready to get into camps for us. And then, like you said, IFL and then NAL starting. So, yeah, great time to be a football fan. It's for sure.
Coach Rez, before we get to our guest today, our first player, where are the news and updates for your organization there in Wheeling?
So the buzz from last week's show was pretty awesome. Had a lot of people thought that was pretty cool, and a lot of questions about what's coming up. What does that mean? That there's a movie, like he's going to be involved with a movie thing, and so we'll get all those details out there as well. It's a pretty cool situation for us. I'm excited about it. I hadn't been a part of anything like that. You've seen some of these reality shows. The last couple of teams that have done that, and I think Gibson did one with the Lions, and of course Massachusetts had theirs a couple years, the Pirates. So it's pretty cool, just the exposure, and your players get a little bit extra exposure during all that. So whenever there's something big like that going on, multiple people reap the rewards from that, I guess you could say. So a lot of partners that were interested about the more details on what does that mean for them, and some of their brands being involved and whatnot. So it's a lot of cool things. Everything that we were expecting to come from that is starting to come to fruition, I guess you could say. So excited about that. Getting some last minute stuff together for camp. Players report on the 28th. So we got some stuff set up for them. Physicals on that Friday. Big welcome team dinner that night, and equipment issue, team meetings, all that. And then we start practice on Monday on the April 1st. So a lot of stuff between here and now. We'll be putting out some information about our season ticket pickup party, which I'm pretty excited about that. We got some cool things in the works with that. Coming up with some surprises that we'll be putting out to the community that'll be actually helping us throughout the whole state of West Virginia. So that'll be pretty awesome. We'll reveal some of that information there at that ticket pickup party, which will be April 7th, which we'll have our team by then. So it'll be turning more like a meet and greet. I've done that a few different places where we've been, but the best time has been with the Cobras when I was there every year I was there. We did a season ticket pickup party, and it was pretty awesome. My wife's band sang at one. I think it was something along those lines.
That barbecue place, weren't you, last year?
We did a barbecue place. We did a couple different things. So they're awesome. It's just a good time for the players to get introduced, meet the fans, great fans in Carolina. So that was always awesome. So I'm looking forward to what we got going on in Wheeling. I actually, believe it or not, we actually have some Cobras fans that moved to the West Virginia area that they bought season tickets to our games because, they love the game itself. And of course, some of the Cobra players that we have that's going to be with us. And, of course, I was with the team and whatnot. So it's cool to see them people follow you like that. And they come to the same place, different places where you're at. And I just know that some of the fans that we've met so far, I mean, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Getting that started with everything. And, the players everything we're trying to do is put the players in a good situation to have a good time. Just the entertainment side of it and have a blast. Oh, and by the way, we still got to play a football game. So that's what they're there for. And that's the whole premise of what we're putting out there, to the fans and to the community, trying to keep that arena football vibe going of the way it's supposed to be, and just make it fun. So everyone you want to create something where everybody wants to be a part of, whether you're a football fan or not. It's just the camaraderie, the community, and just the fun and the fellowship and the different entertainment things that'll be happening, and a lot of music stuff involved. So we're looking forward to it. And it'll be here before you know it, April 13th will be our first game on the road. And then our first home game will be April 19th weekend. So right now it's looking as probably going to be that Monday night on the 22nd. But things are still up in the air. I think the hockey teams won a couple games last couple nights. So they're it's going to be a slim chance that they don't make it. But as you know, in sports, anything can happen right at the end. So, hopefully things work out for them. And it sucks because scheduling, you want to play in certain things, but you don't know which day to do, and you don't want to change the date 100% because then if you got to change it again, then it's like, what are these guys doing? And it's stuff that I hate not having control of stuff that and stress about stuff that we can't control. You know what I mean? So it's hard when you're at the mercy of other stuff going on. So, but other than that, everyone's excited. I ticket sales are going good so far, so it's I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for that first home game night.
You also have one more tryout this weekend. Am I correct?
Yep, this coming Friday. Matter of fact, so we've had about 7 dudes sign up in the last couple days since Sunday. So I think that puts us at about 29 total so far, not counting anyone that we're bringing back from the first workout. And so it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. It's in our practice facility. So, get the feel for some of that stuff, and be a good turnout.
Well, that's all the updates, right? So can we bring in QB1? Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm excited to, have our first player on. We'll get a lot more players involved, obviously. We'll do some things with like we'll bring on Grant first, and then we'll do some position group stuff as we go. And every week we'll have somebody on. I'm looking forward to getting some of our partners involved. Some of our community partners, give them some exposure on some of the shows. We'll start doing some at some of our local partners of some restaurants and sports bars and things like that. And so we're looking forward to that, of being able to do it in different places. I know Jeff's excited about that too. To be able to, kind of get out and about with some things and just to get a different view of whatnot. But yeah, so having Grant on first to kick things off for us from the player standpoint, is pretty cool because I tried to get him a couple seasons ago, and then COVID happened, and then he kind of hung out near the house because the IFL was supposed to put a team there in Columbus, and he was wanting to stay close to home. So here we are, better late than never.
All right, no further ado, quarterback QB1, Grant Russell. Grant, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, I appreciate it. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Football season's here for
Good,
me.
man. Grinding along, getting stuff ready for y'all.
Yes, sir. That was a heck of an intro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. You've been out of the mix for a little bit, so we got to get you back into excitement.
No doubt. No, I'm excited for sure.
So where have you been in the world of arena and indoor football? It seems like you were there in the AFL and you left. Like, where did you go? What have you been up to?
So I signed to the Cobras that next year after the AFL folded, and then COVID hit, which was tough. And when one league folds and then you sign to another league and COVID happens, I decided to go back and get my master's degree in education. Try to get something that was more stable than what was going on in the realm of indoor football. So I was able to go accomplish that and get a teaching job, and had a decent amount of opportunities the past 3 years, but nothing really too close to home. And coach hit me up about a month and a half ago, said, "Hey, I'm kind of in your backyard." I said, "Hey, that sounds great. Let's do it." So he gave me a great opportunity, and I'm excited to have a chance to go throw it around again.
How far is that from you? How many hours drive?
About an hour and a half.
Oh, that's not bad.
And from Newark, Newark's even further east, so it's about 50 minutes to an hour from Newark. So I know there's some people over that way that are excited to see me suit up again.
As you know, I'm a big fan of arena/indoor football, and you've played for the Columbus Destroyers, which had a good fan base. And Coach Rez, with the intro about your hopes of hoping the IFL team, and you've been a teacher. Now you're entering Willing as a QB1. What is your goal as a quarterback for this season, just in its entirety? Championship or bust? That's the question.
Yeah, no, I mean you hit the nail on the head. Win football games. That's something that we didn't do a great job of in Columbus, and I've had a sick taste in my mouth since 2019 regarding that. It's my last time suiting up and playing meaningful football. So I've taken this incredibly serious training, regardless of me. I'm obviously doing my job teaching, but training day in and day out to go prepare myself to win football games, championship or bust.
Okay.
Grant, you
Jeff,
talk
you got a
about that 2019 season. Yeah. Grant, you talk about that 2019 season in Columbus. You had over 2,000 yards passing. You threw 36 touchdowns. You had multiple 6-touchdown games. I mean, yeah, your team didn't have a good season, but your records and your stats that season is nothing to slouch about. I mean, you threw the ball around and threw it around well. How does that translate to what you're going to do here?
I know I can do it just based on doing it then and doing it pretty well then. In college I went to ODU. We won a lot of football games there. So then to go and play in the AFL for Columbus and not win football games again, that's what it's a sick feeling on my stomach. But I still have that confidence I can go out and do it. I've been throwing multiple times a week. Still feels great. Still put the ball in the right spot. And just getting my body ready just gives me even more confidence to be able to go out and perform. So I'm just excited to get with all the guys. I've talked to many of the guys that have signed. We're all excited for this opportunity because we know the city of Wheeling definitely brings it. They're great supporters, and I know that just from seeing how the Rough Riders were supported. So we know that it's kind of similar to Columbus. The city flocks to winners. So we go out there and put on a show. We're going to have a lot of people come out and support. So that's the goal.
So we know 2020 was a dark year for this nation and for the world. You went to go play for Coach Rez in Carolina. Unfortunately, season didn't get going. Do you remember the rosters around the NEL in 2020? How all the teams were being built and how dang good that year would have been if the season went off and you would have been a part of Carolina, who was freaking loaded too.
Yeah. There was the competition was going to be real stiff. I mean, it was going to be elite competition for arena football. There was a lot of big name guys that were signing to a lot of teams, and it was going to be a lot of fun. Very, very competitive for sure.
And you've played in many arenas in the AFL and other leagues. Any arena that you wish you can go to and play for, like play in either as a player or be as a road team? Because any arena, any league, any arena.
I think playing down in Jacksonville one time would be really cool. I think just that atmosphere down there I've seen, and I talk about my buddy Jensen Stoshak that plays down there. There's tens of thousands of people that show up for those games, and I hear it's nuts. They call it the Shark Tank. I hope that I got that correct.
You did.
All right, good. That makes me feel much better. But I know those people down there, they love their arena football, and I think that would be a great environment to go down and perform in for sure.
Because you've played
I've heard that arena quiet with 9,000 fans and 9,000 fans, and it was quiet.
We don't need to talk about that, Coach Ray.
They were leaving. Fans were leaving too. I thought it was one of the coolest things I ever seen. And then before you knew it, the game was over. We lost the damn game. It was like, what in the world?
I'm done. See ya. Well, that's one of the comments I get from a lot of players is they mention those teams. They mention Jacksonville, they mention Arizona, they mention Iowa, even mention Frisco here and there. And that's what people talk about. What do you think about arena football? What do you think about indoor football? I think of those organizations and the 10,000 fans that you used to see back in the day when you see Aaron Garcia throwing the rock around. That's the pageantry I remember. One thing I know about West Virginia is the Rough Riders brought a crowd. They have a history there for bringing fan bases. So don't underestimate the smaller arena compared to Jacksonville or Philadelphia or Carolina. They have a rowdy fan base there in Wheeling. Just going to give you a heads up, and they're going to be on your side. How does a home field advantage help you as a quarterback?
Oh, so much, especially in arena football. I mean, it's like basketball. You got people that are right there in your lap. They're right beside you. You talk to the fans all the time. So being able to have all of those people in that front row and obviously in the rows past being on your side, yeah, that helps a lot. I'm looking forward to that. for sure. And I know obviously the Rough Riders had a championship tradition too. So the people of Wheeling are going to be expecting a championship year one. It doesn't matter. And that's what we're trying to give to them.
I'm not going to stoke the flames, but I looked at your roster compared to the other teams in the league. Yeah, there's no measuring stick. You are the team in the league, in my opinion, to win it all. And then it's not because I'm hosting the show here, because I look at the roster. I look at this team. I go, I see the Carolina Cobras from 2 years ago here, and that was a dang good Carolina team. I think. Well, not the result at the end of the year. I'm not going to bring back bad news there, Coach Rez. I had to get back at you how you said 9,000 fans walked out of my arena. What are you talking about? Yeah, we didn't make the playoffs that year, but I digress. But one thing I want to say is that fans, get your tickets now. Coach Rez has season ticket packages, pickups. Walk-ups are big. That's one thing me and Rez and other people who covers leagues do. It's not how many season tickets you get. It's how many people, new fans, you can get in walk-ups. West Virginia has that fan base. I'm looking forward to it. I wish a couple years ago we had the Rough Riders and Sharks scheduled to play each other before. I think that was the 2020 season that the virus showed them the names, the one that closed it down. So we had a chance for that. So hopefully West Virginia comes out and supports it. Hopefully I make a trip up there for one of the games when my schedule fits. But again, let's get back to you, Russell. You've played some incredible competition against some dudes that are either starting to retire or are currently in other leagues. Any memorable matchup, a DB or a linebacker, you're like, man, this guy is going to be a mess to deal with.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to my college days at ODU. We played Grand Valley State, and Matt Judon was the starting defensive end that I was playing against. He was a menace for sure. He was, I want to say that I probably got hit about 6 times that game from him. 3 of those times though, it was touchdowns after he hit me. So I was talking little trash to him, say, hey, come on, man. Every time you touch me, I feel like I throw a touchdown. Let's go. Keep it going. But he was a stud. And obviously he's been phenomenal. I think he was named to the NFL top 100 list like last year or the year before that. He was a stud. And then playing that 1 year in the AFL, I can't think of off the top of my head, but many, many elite DBs as well as defensive linemen. Joe Powell comes to mind. I'm sorry. I did name drop. Joe Powell was great. Very difficult defensive back to throw the football against. And then again, various defensive linemen that were, they were fast and physical, and were really good at the game.
Coach, you got any questions for your quarterback?
Yeah, I got a question, which I don't think I've asked you this before, but in that 2019 season with the Destroyers, I know I personally thought, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people, and I'm sure you heard it as well, that you probably should have been named the starter, going into that first game. But I know how it is, with rookie quarterbacks and the AFL and those AFL coaches, and it's like, it's tough to pull the trigger like from that aspect. But when you had your opportunity, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, your first pass was a touchdown. So
yes,
how did that feel? Like, how did that kind of, I know kind of how you are as a person, as a competitor and whatnot. Did that fire you up a little bit?
Oh yeah, that was, and I mean, you want to talk about a good environment to play in. Albany season opener, that place was rowdy. I want to think there was like 11,000 people there, and be able to come in first play of the game, throw a touchdown pass. It was to Jensen Stoshak, matter of fact, in the front court of the end zone.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a great start. I was fortunate enough. Albany was about 9 hours away from Columbus, and my family showed up, and my future wife's family showed up, and she showed up, surprised me at the beginning of the game. So to be able to do all of that in front of my family, it was a blessing. But yeah, that was a good start to the professional career. That's for sure.
Nice.
Well,
Nice. Yeah, it was
a why you got touchdown.
Cool moment. That was a cool moment too to see. I've never seen that. Overall, like what do you think lies ahead for you as far as I know you're teaching and stuff now. I mean, if there's some opportunities that come up for you, at the higher levels, is that something that you're still possibility for? Or are you settled down at the house now and with your job and with the family and those type things?
Definitely always settled with the family. That's first and foremost for me. Me and my wife, they say happy wife, happy life, right? Her
Absolutely.
happiness takes precedence over everything. But if a wonderful opportunity comes about, it'd be difficult to say no. But just being able to go out again and perform and make plays and just do what I am accustomed to doing again, and proving to myself that I'm still able to do that. That's all I really care about right now. Just going out and making sure I do my job and being the best quarterback leader that I can be on the football field.
Nice.
And let everything else take care of itself.
I coach high school football too in the off season. So is that I remember you talked about coaching and went back to your school and whatnot. You planning on doing that again, and how involved are you with that?
Yeah, so with I'm teaching middle school in Grove City, and I coach the middle school team there. So I've been doing that the past couple of years, and it's been phenomenal, and I obviously told my kids that I was going to go play again, and they were just all wide-eyed. Mr. Russell, you're going to go play football again? Yeah, I'm going to go do it again. So the entire school was excited. All those kids, I think the first day of practice, they all Google searched me, and they were all excited for me to be able to coach them. So yeah, I'm still planning on doing that. I believe the season we should be done. Championship games, I believe the first second week of July, and middle school football is really nice because it's literally like middle of July until October. That kind of, it cuts out. I coached high school in Newark, which was a lot of fun. I'm very thankful to have that opportunity, but the middle school is just time frame wise has been more, it's been better for me, just being able to manage teaching and that as well.
Have you been able to transition as a coach standpoint from your experience playing, and was it kind of easy for you to kind of put what you've been taught through the years?
Yeah, it has. It's been a lot of fun being able to do that. Teach that younger generation the things that I learned. I feel like I still am, but I also feel like I was, really good at my position and really good at. I learned from some great offensive minds. So being able to pass that down to high school kids and middle school kids, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing for sure.
Nice.
I get one, not really a question. When you said that you coached a middle school team, there was a Saturday Night Live skit a few years ago with Peyton Manning with a bunch of middle schoolers. Are you that type of coach? Like hike and you just beam a kid from 5 yards out and just put your hands up there? Like, why didn't you catch that? Like,
I think it was like one of the first couple of days of practice. I was going out there when I was coaching the quarterbacks. I was throwing it around a little bit, and the kids were struggling to catch it. And I'm like, man, what am I doing? I'm going to hurt a child, and that's the last thing that I want to do. I need to tone it down. So that was the last time I really threw. But you know how middle school kids are. They always want to egg you on. Coach, you can't throw it over top of me. You can't all of this. So there are times, where I'll try to throw it around a bit, but yeah, I try to leave that to the kids. Honestly, I don't want to, have any parents calling my phone saying, "Hey, what did you do? My son hurt his hand. What are you doing?" So I try to limit those interactions with parents as much as I can.
So Grant, just a couple questions for you on my side. So you were used to playing college ball and you were a rookie in the AFL. What was their transition like? Because you played mostly in the shotgun formation in college. What was it like going under center 90% of the plays? And then aside that, what was it like reading defenses in the arena game compared to the outdoor game?
Different. It was different. It was fast. Not only did I play played in the spread offense from when I was 14 years old all the way until I was 22 years old. That's all I knew. So going to the AFL and playing under center, and I think our center, I believe in Columbus, wasn't naturally a center either. So that made that transition pretty difficult. And I don't know if there's people, listening in that watch those games. Obviously there was some issues with center quarterback exchange. So that was a difficult transition. And then obviously just the game speed, it took a little bit, that camp was it was a humbling experience, but I feel like, I performed pretty well, obviously, to be able to have a chance to start in week 2 as a rookie in that league with a lot of guys that had played for a long time. But it was a lot of reps, a lot of practice reps, just making sure I get the ball out of my hands and not being late on throws. It's really difficult to be late on throws in general in the game of football, let alone when you're playing on a 50-yard field or a 50-yard long field and a 25-yard wide field, So just making sure I got the ball out of my hands as fast as possible was a large transition, and making those reads, quick. It helps there's less guys on the field. But again, with the field dimensions, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So it took some time. I feel like we hit a groove pretty early on when I was in Columbus, and then towards the end of the season, we struggled a bit with just various different things offensively, and it ended up not having the best season.
So your internal clock has to speed up, I'm sure, and your release. How much of that did you have to change? Both of those, your release and your internal clock, to say, "Hey, I have to get this out because they're coming at a faster pace than they are in the outdoor game."
Yeah, the internal clock changed a lot. It was like if it was a 3-step drop, it was almost like a step back shuffle, get the ball out. 5 steps, take big 3, and then 2 little shuffles, get the ball out on my plant foot. And if somebody's in your face, someone's in your face, you got to deal with it, make a play. That was the biggest thing, was the internal clock. I don't think I really changed mechanically a lot my throwing motion. Just made sure I adapted. Whether I had to make a throw around a guy or a throw over top, floated over top a jack linebacker, just different throws. Mechanically, nothing changed really, but just making different throws, I think, was the biggest adjustment. But I feel like that's something I've always been very good at. I've always been very accurate with the football. The stats will clearly back that up. So that wasn't that difficult of a change. Again, it was just that eternal clock.
How hard was it running in the Arena League? You had 4 rushing touchdowns. I mean, they were probably, they all were under 5-10 yards. You're taking it in the end zone on the outside. You're scrambling around. How hard is it to do that? Because you're in a smaller area. You're trying to go and you're trying to give, and it's not much area to play with.
Yeah, it wasn't. And I think I did a really good job of that early on in the season. I was able to create and make plays, and not a lot. And a lot of the quarterbacks were obviously capable of doing that in that league, but not a lot of them were doing it early on. So that was a kind of a buzz around the league at that time, that I was kind of mobile and able to make plays with my feet. And then after that, week 4, week 5, professionals, they make really good adjustments. So obviously they're able to adjust to me being able to do that. But that's something, I still feel like I'm capable of doing. I feel like I'm capable of making plays with my feet. If we're at the 5-10 yard line, I want the ball in my hands, so I'm going to go make a play. I still feel that way.
One thing
How many?
go ahead, Grace.
I was going to say, how many of your players, your friends, your buddies out there hit you up, telling you that they were glad to see you getting back out there?
There was a lot. I think I posted on Facebook whenever it came across, and gosh, I want to say there was like 100 comments, like 300 people liked it. A lot of people were really surprised because they thought I hung them up, and I never really came out and said I retired from playing football. But I know a lot of people were excited for me. And I, obviously I'm excited to have this opportunity. My family's very excited. My wife's very excited. A lot of people. So hopefully, a lot of those people will come on over, make that trip, come over and watch me put the pads on again.
Yeah. What's pretty cool about the whole thing too is that, Coach Bruni over at Wheeling University, the head coach over there, he had passed your info along to our DC, who the DC at Wheeling is a good friend of mine, and known him for a while, and I brought him on to be our DC, with the Miners, and he was like, "Hey, Coach Bruni said you need to get up with Grant." Like, oh, I know who that is. I said, I've talked to him before. He was supposed to play for me, and that's how we got back connected. So they're excited to see you, and he's going to come check you out at practice. And I don't know if you had a chance to talk to him yet or whatnot, but they're looking forward to seeing you come and sling it around again. So that's pretty cool.
No doubt. Yeah, he was great. He helped me out a lot. He was my first offensive coordinator in college when I started. So him and I have a great relationship. And obviously he made that move to Wheeling when I was going into my senior year. He FaceTimed me. It was a pretty emotional call for him. Obviously, leaving, I think he took a lot of pride in getting me to Ohio Dominican. So for him to step away and leave as the offensive coordinator, I think it was a difficult decision, but it was the best thing for him and his family, so there was never any hard feelings or anything like that. I was proud of him, but just fortunate to have him as a coach. He's tough as nails. He instilled a lot of grit into me as a football player for sure.
I gotta give some props to Coach Bruni because he almost kind of recruited you again coming back to Wheeling. So.
We have a question from Matt Patton. Are you a vocal or more lead by example type of player in the locker room?
That's a great question, Matt. I want to say both, but I want to say I'm more of a lead by example kind of guy. Somebody that's going to show up early and get the work in, bring some guys along with them, or stay in after practice and continue to get in that work in. Just making sure there's a confidence level amongst all of us, no matter what happens on the field, off the field, just continuing to be in that confident guy, that guys can feel comfortable enough to come talk to, if they have any questions or anything like that. But I feel like I've always been a lead by example kind of guy. I'll go out and play my tail off, and I want my guys to follow with me for sure.
Pretty good. There's one thing I've noticed in college, in an indoor arena game, and you're starting to see it in the NFL game, especially from Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, where they do all these incredible sidearm throws, and people say, "Oh, this is new. This is the new thing for quarterbacks," and they don't realize in the arena/indoor game, you have to throw like that most of the time to even get completions down the field. How hard is it as a quarterback to go from your normal throw motion to just trying to like fling it sideways?
It could be difficult at times, but that's just something that I feel like I was fortunate enough that people I trained with, they kind of had me do that at early stages. I feel like, there was times where I was throwing sidearm back in college. And I think, again, that's back to a testament to Coach Bruni. And then I had Chris Reiser as my offensive coordinator as well when I was a senior. Two great offensive minds. That would do that. They would make sure that we would be in situations that are rare occasions in games, but they would make sure that we were ready for it when it came about. It feels like second nature to be able to make those throws in general. And it helped having those drills and having them, get me to be ready for that when it happened in the game. But yeah, not easy though. Not easy. Sorry, go ahead.
What's your favorite play?
My favorite play, I like throwing, especially in the arena, corners or posts, or, we hit them with a double move, hit them with a corner post, hit them with a post corner. Love making those throws. Or I love ripping a post just right off the break. As soon as they get out of that break, just throwing it on a line before they even get out of the break, letting it go. And as soon as they turn around, they got the ball right in their face mask.
I see a lot of quarterbacks in the league, like Jeff said, how the reaction time is like, you got to get rid of it too. Like your second step, the ball has to be out sometimes. And you watch, especially this past weekend in the industry, a lot of younger guys getting introduced to the game. They're there holding the ball, and they think their ability to scramble is going to save them. And then 10 minutes, 5 seconds later, it's 10 yards, 15 yards, and you're 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. And I could tell from watching your film from back in the day, you can still watch it, by the way. It's on YouTube. You're the type of quarterback that when you were scrambling, you look like you didn't like to run. You look like you want to be protected by your offensive lineman, then you throw the ball deep. Are you what they say, typical pocket quarterback, or are you more of a slash? You can scramble, but you rather stay protected?
Yeah, if I can stay protected, I'm going to stay protected for sure. I think my wife's going to agree with that one. But I'm going to make plays if I have to make plays. Bottom line, I think that's something that I've been pretty darn good at throughout my playing career, being able to create when I had to create. But if I can, take a 3-step drop, get the ball out of my hands, take a 5-step drop, get the ball out of my hands, I'm down to do that all day, every day. Because I feel like I'm very accurate throwing a football, and obviously, I'm that staying in the pocket makes it easy to do that.
Yeah, and I can help answer that. I can help answer that a little bit too with Grant. I think a lot of people don't give you enough credit for being a mobile quarterback, because you can hurt people with your legs. You can, but you're the type of guy. There's a lot of guys like yourself that are true quarterbacks that use your athletic ability to extend the play. And if you have to scramble around, you're more buying time to get the ball down the field and let your receivers make plays down the field. Because we're going to get more yards that way if we get the ball down the field. So I think that is more your mentality. But you'll make someone pay with your legs if you have to. But you like to sling the ball down the field. So I could see that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a colleague that Coach knows, and I know. Coached against him a couple times in NAL last year. He's a pocket quarterback, and I asked him on one of the shows he joined me with my other podcast. Are you, as a quarterback, even though that you're a pocket quarterback, and you think that you have Michael Vick in your head? He goes, Jim, I have 2 bad knees. If I think I'm Michael Vick, I'm collapsing on the ground. And I'm like, oh, come on, Mason. You got more in you. He goes, no, man, I ain't running for crap. And he goes, as a quarterback, as you get older, you realize that, Michael Vick, Tyrod Taylor days are way past you. You just want to sit back there. Okay, where's my protection, and release the ball. That's the reason why I want to ask you that question, because Mace is like, nope. Your mind says, yes, you can do it. Your knees are like, oh, no, you cannot.
Yeah, no, these knees are talking to me good right now. They're saying go do it. So I'm going to be ready for that. I'm going to be ready for it for sure.
Coach, I think this is your time.
Did you guys make it to your plane flight to Idaho okay? That's a long plane ride. I talked to Coach Negron on there. They got their first game. He's got his first head coach, his first game as a head coach. Gets the bus's cherry out there on the road.
That's a long trip up to Idaho, but he's doing good in Northern Carolina. I'm looking forward to their season. Russell, one other thing about the good old days back in your collegiate days, what was it like out of high school recruiting? Did you had any eyes set on a big D1 school like Ohio State or the state up north from your state that people don't like to mention, or was it D2, D3, NIA type of level? Was there aspirations of playing in the big house or even in the Horseshoe?
Yeah, there was definitely aspirations to play Division I football. There was a few Big Ten teams that recruited me pretty heavily, and then that year, just a lot of coaching changes towards signing day, which was really difficult for me. Obviously, once those guys left, that communication kind of halted, or if they went somewhere else, they already had a quarterback signed for the class. That happened. But it was D1 for me, was always the goal. And then I had one Division I offer to Northern Colorado. Northern Colorado that year prior to me, if I would have went there, was 0-10, I believe. And then I only had two offers, Northern Colorado and then Ohio Dominican. Ohio Dominican, I vividly remember my sophomore year, Todd Goebel, who great coach, just worked his way up in Division I ranks right now. I couldn't tell you what school I believe he's still at NC State right now as a tight ends coach. He said, if you fall through the cracks, ODU is going to be there. And I said, okay, man. All right. Sounds good. Whatever. I didn't think much of it. And then fast forward 2 years, it was between Northern Colorado and ODU. ODU went 10-0 the year before. And again, Northern Colorado was 0-10. So my high school career was pretty rough. I started all 4 years in Newark High School and won 4 games. So I was tired of losing and wanted to go win football games. So I decided on ODU, and obviously proximity to home helped me out, which led me there. But yeah, there was definitely Division I dreams. But being able going to D2, there's still that opportunity to go play at the next level, even going to play at a Division II school. And I knew that. So that's why I ended up deciding to go and stay close to home and playing in Columbus.
Well, at least D2 got it right from the beginning. They actually legit had a real playoff.
Right.
D1's just now finally like, oh, we could do this playoff thing. How interesting! This is fun.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about all the NIL stuff now, Grant? Like, how do you feel that would have been back when you were coming up?
Oh, that would have been nuts. I mean, I feel like it's crazy. It's beneficial for the players. I could see why the coaches it'd be really difficult for them. I actually had a good buddy of mine. One of my best friends was in the college recruiting business, and he's been out, I want to say, for a couple years now. And every time this topic of conversation comes up, he's always like, man, I'm so glad I'm out. The transfer portal was just absolutely insane, all of this. So I could see it's very beneficial for the players. I'm happy for them now. Coaches, though, that'd be a really, really difficult position to be in. But yeah, I would have loved it. If I was able to get a little money to go play some ball, that would have been sweet.
Well, think about it too. You think your decision was hard though, trying to figure out what school to go to. Now imagine how hard it'd be for those high school kids coming out of not knowing who's going where and what's going to happen and what opportunities are going to be there for you. Because now, honestly, knowing some of the coaches that and whatnot. College coaches ain't going after the high school seniors no more. They're going after those dang transfer portal guys,
especially the quarterback position. They want a veteran, somebody that's been at a school for a couple of years, maybe been behind somebody that was real successful at quarterback, and they wanted to get out. Yeah, I would not want to be a junior or senior high school quarterback and not be heavily touted. Have all those stars next to my name. I think it'd be pretty difficult to do what you want to do. But they still you can always work your way up. I feel like if you're talented enough, someone's going to get their eyes on you, and you should be able to make the most of their opportunities. But yeah, it's much more difficult now than I think it ever has been.
Well, speaking of the transfer portal, you were just mentioning, you're an ODU. What happens if the transfer portal was what it is today when you played? There's a certain defensive end that's getting drafted this year in the NFL who was from University U Albany, and he's projected top 10 pick in Jared Verse, who went to Florida State. You see a bunch of smaller guys from D2, D1, FCS move up to D1, and they're like, where did this guy come from? Like, how did he not get recruited? Now, put yourself in that shoes. If you were a highly talented quarterback going up to another level, what do you think that would have been like if you were in that position?
Oh, I think that would have been huge to be able to have that opportunity to do that. I think I could have if I wanted to. It just never was, it never crossed my mind. I felt like I was at home at ODU. I played as a freshman. I was never redshirted. So I didn't really have that redshirt year to be like, man, I was playing always, I was always taking like game reps in practice. So I think it would have been a little bit different, if I came in and was redshirted and knew for a fact I was not going to see the field at all, going from starting every single year in high school to that. But kids that have that opportunity, it's awesome. Like, I don't think it's kids shouldn't have the mindset they should be D1 or bust at this point. You know what I mean? If you can go have a good D2 offer, go there, and you can always work your way up. Or FCS offer, go FCS. They're going to find you.
Yeah. So Grant, just a quick question for me. What's it going to be like? You play, obviously we're going to be on the road first game, but that first home game, you're, like you said, you're about 45 minutes away from home. People are going to be able to travel. We have the YouTube, so everybody's going to be able to see you back home. Your 8th grade kids are going to be able to watch you sling it around. What's that going to feel like for you to have all that publicity per se from your family, from, the kids at school, not just the kids you teach, but everybody at that school that you teach at, because they all know who you are. What's that going to feel like for you?
Just a huge blessing. That's like, there's a lot of emotions that go into it, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm just blessed to be able to have the opportunity to go do it again. Coach Rez could have went out and contacted any other guy, or had guys at the tryout, but he reached out to me. I'm very fortunate. And, I'm just going to make the most of this opportunity. Very excited though. Very, very excited. And again, it's just a huge blessing, and I've been doing everything I can ever since he called me 2 months ago to put myself in a position to just go out, be confident, and go make plays, show out a little bit for everybody back home and then all the kids at school. Because the funny thing about it is we're going to play a game on Friday. I'm going to have to go teach those kids on Monday. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
So your first AFL touchdown was your first play. Are you going to try to mimic that? Are you going to try to do it right off the bat again here in Wheeling? Because if that's the case, then it's when the Rough Riders came, they had a touchdown right off the bat. So, I mean, your expectations here are high for yourself and for the previous team.
Just going to take what the defense gives us, We got to check it down. We'll check it down.
Yeah.
If something's up top, though, we'll take a shot. I don't really want to call that out right now. But just make the smart decision with the football. At the end of the day, as long as we're ahead of the schedule, ahead of the chains, that's all that matters. So just one play at a time.
What do you got to say? I know there's some Wheeling fans on here and checking out the show, and they'll quite a few will check the show out afterwards. But what do you got to say to the fans? Like, what should they expect from you, and what are you looking for?
Big plays. Expect big plays. Expect a lot of guys to go out there hungry to go win football games, many football games. We want you guys to come out and support, be wild and crazy. We wanted that home field advantage. And I know that you guys will give that to us. So again, just be ready to watch a show. Looking forward to it.
What was that last comment that came on the screen there, Jim?
Oh, that was Ducon Williams. That's saying, are we going to win any? The Miners going to win any games this year?
He knows the answer. He knows the answer to that without none of us even have to say anything.
I've seen his videos before. His videos are pretty neat.
He's just starting
Very
stuff.
neat.
He's just starting stuff. That's new
Yeah,
content.
he'll be all right. He's finally with a good network, so now he can get some good viewership.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's Inside the Walls Network, by the way. Any final questions there,
Shameless
Jeff?
plug. Shameless plug.
Yeah, of course.
Not really a question, but a statement per se. I'm really excited to get to call your games, Grant. Really love the way you play, the way you bring it. Like we mentioned before, you love to sling the rock down the field, but on the goal line situation, you're going to dive in. You're going to fight for those extra yards and get that touchdown if you need it yourself. So I mean, I love the grit that you play with, and just can't wait to see you out there throwing the ball around and making plays and bringing wins here to Wheeling.
Sir, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, you have the rest of the show, my friend.
Yeah, so it's going to be good. It's going to be a blast. Home games are going to be pretty awesome, man. We'll have a good following. I think it's cool. A lot of people, when we talk about, I made it a point to bring on a lot of local college players that are in that area that have been playing. People know who they are. That's been created a buzz within itself. And then there's quite a few people that remembered your name in the Ohio area and ODU and that type stuff. So it's really still close to be a home game for you. A lot of people don't understand the Wheeling area. It's, you go over the river one way, you're in Ohio, you go the other direction, you're in PA. So, there's a lot of good football around that area. I wanted to make a point to, there's a lot of good football players from that area that are out playing at other teams, and you try to get them to come back. And so that's a lot what this season is going to be of, show some people out there that, we're legit and excited to have a team in the area. And, there's no reason to go far away from home when you got a good place to play near the house.
Sir.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, send them now. We're wrapping up here. We've been on for
I will say ZB Zach Brown mentioned on there, gave a shout out to us. So I know he's either on the road or he just now getting close to San Antonio, or he might already be there. So be safe on the road. And, he's IFL's some good football, so you're going to have a blast.
Yeah, I think they report this week sometime. Their schedule is unique. They open up with 2 bye weeks. So they get to watch everyone else in the IFL before they get to play at San Diego for their first game. I think week 3 is their first game, the first opponent.
Well, before they even get started, what I'm excited to see is all them veterans they got on their roster, how they're going to dwindle that down to 7 on the active roster. That's going to be pretty interesting to see.
Will the games be broadcast?
Yes, all of our home games, that is, will be broadcasted on YouTube through JB Media. They do a great job. They do a lot of stuff with the hockey team there. Jeff, who's on the show here with us, he's one of the broadcast guys. He does the color. And then another one of our guys, Chris Thoburn, he does the play-by-play for us on the broadcast. So yes, we'll have probably one of the top broadcasts in the country. I'm just going to say that now. Just I think we got like 7 camera views, and it's going to be pretty cool to put on. So it's, most of the leagues that you go to, that's a requirement. So we want to make sure that we do a good job. And if we're going to have to do that next year, we might as well get that established now. And because a lot of people look at that stuff, when you're talking to other leagues or you're looking at other things, and there's people trying to check out your organization and those type things, they go to your broadcast, because there's some people that had this broadcast this last weekend. They're getting tore up out the frame because their broadcast was terrible. The camera didn't move, and the camera staying in the middle of the field, and the play is on one end, and like you just see the middle logo, and you're like, where's the play going on? And it's just, you don't want that. That's just, that kind of shows your overall production of what you're doing for your organization as a whole. It's just everything. If your broadcast is on point, you got a simple score bug on the bottom, things like that. That's, you got to have that stuff. So if you're not paying attention to detail on some of that stuff, what does everything else look like? You know what I mean? Like how are the players being taken care of? What is the game day experience like? The whole aspect. So we're going to take pride in that part of it and everything that we do. But the broadcast itself, I want that to be on point, and we're excited to put on a good show with that as well.
With broadcasts, becomes good production. When good production becomes good quality, and good quality only needs one thing: a good football team. And I think you're building that there in Wheeling. We've said this off camera before, Coach Rez. Hopefully that we have a future encounter between Wheeling and Jacksonville in another league in the future. Hope so, because I think that me and you can bicker back and forth. I'll be doing the coach's show for one team and the podcast for another team. I'll be fighting. I'll have voices in my head. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. You'll be a Miner fan on one day, and then the rest of the day you're a Jacks fan, and then maybe I'll even be able to I'll pop on a Shark show one time do a head-to-head with Gibson. I'm sure that'll get a lot of views.
Well, Gibson gets along with everybody. If sometimes. Grant, where can your fans follow you? Because I know you have social media. Where can the Wheeling fans follow you on your social media platforms?
Yeah, I got Facebook, Instagram, both under Grant Russell. And then I have an X. I almost said Twitter, but it's not Twitter anymore. An X under Grant Russell as well. So I got all three of those. So yeah, feel free to give me a follow for sure. It's definitely private, so I got to approve all that with all my students that I got. How to make that private, But yeah, I got all three of those. So feel free.
Any parting words there, Coach?
I'm good. No, I appreciate your time, Grant. I know you're busy, got a lot of stuff going on, so I appreciate you coming on and kicking it off for the player side for us, and looking forward to getting the season rolling.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate you three. It's been great to get back to this. It's been a while. It's been a few years since I've been able to answer some questions and talk to not only you guys, but the fans out there too. So thank you for this opportunity.
Well, Grant,
Absolutely.
Go spend time with your wife, because as they say, happy wife, happy life. Sir,
Amen. Amen.
We'll close out the show. You have more important things to do. Thank you for being on the show today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good week.
You too.
Jeff, any final words for the episode so we can wrap it up? Into the fans, send questions now for Coach or Jeff or myself. We might know some things.
No, that was awesome with Grant getting to talk to a player. First couple episodes. I mean, not that I don't enjoy your guys' company. It's a little nicer to have somebody ask questions too. But it was nice to
Taking
get him
shots?
on, pick his brain a little bit. See, no. Maybe. But it was nice to pick his brain a little bit and see where he's at in his career and stuff, and learn about the things that he's done throughout his career, and getting into the AFL, now coming back and playing, and having his students being able to see him. That's got to be a cool feeling, like he mentioned, to being able to play basically in his backyard, and then play for those guys. So yeah, it's just a great thing. And then getting ready for the tryout on Friday, get to see some new talent, hang out with Coach a little bit, and get some things going for the rest of the season.
That's a question for you, Coach.
When does the people running the chains need to pick our security badges? Probably security badge, all that stuff will probably be picked up on the first home game. We'll have a section for you to be able to get that stuff picked up and all that. We'll reach out to you guys well before then anyway. People that are on that list, we'll reach out. All the operation of the game itself, we'll get everyone on the same page with that. As we get a little bit closer, I would expect a call from somebody within the next couple weeks for sure. 2 weeks max, I would probably assume.
So with that, we have I thought we had another question pop up. I'm just seeing if I scroll past it. Well,
no, you're fine.
Ducon wants me to go to an asylum. Josh is
I did think that y'all show about around the NAL thing was pretty cool that he did that y'all put together. I thought that was pretty good. He does put on good video. He does good videos. He does some cool stuff. So even though he talks junk, I still support him.
You're gonna make him shed a tear there, Coach. So this Saturday you have the final camp, or this Friday. March 15th. You say you already have 29 players signed up. How many players are you thinking about signing from this group?
Well, we got 11 spots left on camp, so I kept 11 spots open on some last minute stuff. I'm hoping that we get about 5 or 6 more local guys added to that. Right now, we're sitting at 11. 11 of our 24 are local. Now, when I say local, they mean they're playing college local. They played college local, and they reside still in the area. So, anytime you get some good football players that are local to you and they're not housed, that's everyone's trying to find those local guys that can help, because it helps with a lot of stuff out in the community when you're going to events, when you're but some of them might have good followings, and if every college player that we had has 50 people come watch them, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good turnout right there. That's almost 500, at least 500 fans locally that are just coming because of the people they know that's playing. So there's still a business aspect of it. So you got to be able to, you want to win games, but what good is it if you got a bunch of people that no one knows, and then you don't got people coming to support you and they don't really care? Yeah, it's cool, we got football, but it just makes it that much better if you can build a good team and people know who they are. Not necessarily like arena vets, but they know who they are because they may have been in high school, was a high school star, and went on to play college, and now they either came back to play or they played locally at a college area, D2, D3. That's what arena football was built off of. Division II, Division III football players. So I mean, like we're right in the bread and butter of what the game was about, because the AFL was a lot of under the radar guys that people didn't really know about, and now all of a sudden they're football stars. That's what the arena game was about, and I think that's what was that niche with it that everyone liked, enjoyed so much, because you weren't worried about the big name guys. Now arena guys became big name players. That's cool to see. You talk about the 2020 rosters, and I know we're trying to close, but the 2020 rosters going into the NAL, the Rough Riders were supposed to play that season, and they were building a pretty dang good roster, and everyone gave them crap about playing the teams and coming to a better league, blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. And so they built a pretty dang good roster. Darius Prince was on that roster. I mean, they had some studs that were on that roster that were going to be playing.
Nelson. Yeah.
Arvell. So, I mean, when you look at that kind of competition, that could have been, pretty crazy. I mean, we put together a good roster of people, and people don't realize too, and we don't talk about it a whole lot, but I took last season off, which I missed it. I wish I would have kept at it, but sometimes we need a break to recharge, and just how life, sometimes. So, but the 4 seasons before that, I was in the championship game the last 3 out of those 4 seasons. And I like to think last year I would have been in the championship game again, which my team that I was with, the Cobras, they were in the championship game again. So technically, if you put it like that, it could have been in the championship game 4 out of the 5 seasons. I think that's pretty dang good. I mean, we put together some good stuff. Like, a lot of things happen for you to get a championship game. Like, things got to fall in your favor. Like, there is a little bit of luck too. It's hard to make the championship game. But when you're in it, like it's awesome. So that the type of, I know what we're going to put together. I'm excited for the fans, for what we're trying to, what we're building and what we're establishing, because I don't really care that much about this year. I care about the future. I want to know where we're at 5, 6, 7 years from now. We got a 3-year deal with the arena. So, we're exciting. I don't think none of the other teams had multiple year deals from that standpoint. So like we mean business. The town means business. Our downtown's taken a transformation of construction and buildings, and just infrastructure is improving. Buildings are improving. I mean, downtown's going to be jumping within the next 2 to 3 years, and it's going to be awesome to be a part of. And we're a part of like the main attraction in downtown Wheeling, and I think that's what is most exciting about all this. And wherever we end up going, and where we end up making it to, and being a part of some stuff is going to be exciting. And it's going to be Wheeling. West Banco is going to be a hard place to come play at, because it's going to be packed and it's going to be loud, and it's 5,400 seat venue. Okay, but you get 5,000 people yelling at you. That's loud. That's ruckus. That's the thing. Like Omaha. Omaha, I didn't realize how small it was inside, because you're watching on YouTube. I went there 2 years ago when Coach Jones was the head coach there still. It was a preseason game, but they had a good crowd. And I didn't realize it was only seats like 4,000, 3,800, something like that.
4,600.
But it's packed. Like when it's packed, it's loud. It's like it sounds like 9,000, 10,000 people, because the venue. It's like I like to say it like a Carter Finley, or not Carter Finley, but the like Duke basketball. they're where they play their games. It's tight, compacted, loud, crazy environment. That's the stuff you want, and that's what makes the game exciting.
Oh,
I just went. That's my rant. So I just went on a rant there a little bit, but it's all
It's your
good.
show, Coach. You can go on the rant.
We got more people watching now anyway, so there you go.
Yeah. People love rants when you go on rants. Like, that's when you get your clippings and you see yourself on other podcast shows going off on the subject, and they take credit for what you said. It happens. It happens to me quite often, honestly. But hey, sometimes you have to, take clippings from the king to get accurate information, because like you and like what I do with the NAL and with the Jacksonville Sharks, when I get told information, I don't say anything. I'm told when to release it. And people's like, "How do you know that?" It's like, I got connections. Who are your connections? I'm not.
I'm bringing some stuff back, and I'll go ahead and say it now. Like I'm working on one of the things I'm going to do is bring back some of the Greyhounds that played, and do like a Greyhounds night. Like invite some of them back, because going through some information and some programs, and a lot of them are still in the area. There's quite a few that are coaching high school football in the area. Grant's coach Bruni, I believe he played quarterback. I think he played for the Greyhounds. And so now he's the head coach in college, but like he knows that area. So you get guys like it could take off into a whole totally different angle of what we're trying to work on, because there's so many Greyhound fans there still is ridiculous. And to bring that excitement and get that involved and capture that, I think is important, and to recognize them. They won 2 championships back to back. One of them may have been in the IFL, I think it was, or maybe it was I don't remember what legal, UIFL or something, UFL, or it was something
they
like
were
that.
national. NIFL.
Oh, they were national.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a lot of prestige with them, and a lot of history involved with all that. And it's a pretty good area, and that's why we chose to market, and we're excited about it. And you get the guys that kind of started that arena history stuff, and that are still around, and you can get them involved like that. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's awesome.
I think that was a good show. You think so?
Yeah, it's good.
You want to go on another rant there, Coach?
I think the shows themselves, I think they're just going to get better when we go, like when we're in the restaurants and you get the fan involvement, and we get a good following, and now you can do some live questioning, and there's all kinds of stuff we can do. We can bring some fans up out of the crowd, like up onto the screen and stuff like that. So a lot of cool things that we can do. So I appreciate you helping out with this, and it's going to be pretty cool going forward.
Talking about episodes, last week's episode, incredible viewership. We cracked over 1,800 views, downloads, viewership on the episode. That's because of you guys, willing fans, and even indoor arena football community. I want to say appreciate it. Thank you. Respect it.
Yeah, we appreciate
it.
We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Like, a lot of shows don't get that number. A lot of shows don't even touch that number, and you did it in 3 episodes. But again, you're a young franchise, and you're growing, and this episode might not get there, but could.
No,
it's just the beginning.
It might not. It might not. If we keep on a little bit longer, you get.
But anyways, Jeff, any final words so we can, end the show, so the fans can actually go, spend time with their families. That's what you need to be doing right now, before minor football kicks off here in a couple weeks.
I think I'm good. I'm not going to go on a rant like Coach Rez did, but yeah, definitely get your season tickets, guys. Come see the show. It's going to be awesome. Like you mentioned, it is a small arena, but man, we love to pack it in there, and it gets loud. So come be a part of it. Absolutely.
Coach?
I'm good, man. We're excited. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right.
I'm good. We're ready. Let's roll. We'll see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode, I don't know where I'm 4, but again, I'm Jim Renier. That's Jeff. That's Coach Rez. This is Through the Wire with Coach Rez, Willing Minor Football. We'll be back next Wednesday. New time. We're going to do it at 6:30. There's a reason why. We won't tell you. We'll be doing 6:30 next week, and we'll have another player on. So you got to end the show on a laugh. That's Jeff. That's Coach Rez. I'm Jim. This is Through the Wire on Inside the Walls Network. Appreciate it, folks. Be safe. We'll see you next week.